Today's gathering at Siamsa was a remarkable event. We were here to celebrate the life and work of a remarkable man. A man who is a medical man, a man who is a professor, a man who is a philosopher, a man who is an artist, a man who is a family man. He comes from this place. His traditions are rooted in Sliabh, very near Rathmore. His people come from there, went to New York City and made good like many Irish people before him.
So you've heard the phrase Renaissance man. Well, if ever the description was valid in describing and defining a human being, that person is Kevin Cahill. Let's see. He's a distinguished medical doctor with his own prestigious practice on Fifth Avenue, New York, a learned academic and professor, a writer of a vast number of fine publications, a humanitarian who has not just lectured on the area, but practiced it in the heat of the front in Africa, in Latin America, in India, where he worked with Mother Teresa, and in many other places around the world. A philosopher, a politician, a public servant who ran the Ministry of Health in the state of New York in the 1970s, where he had direct responsibility for a staff of over 20,000 people. What do you think of that, Tom Curran? Advisor to the chairman of the General Assembly of the United Nations. I think about 26 honorary doctorates been awarded from various universities around the world. A loving husband to his beloved Kate, sadly no longer with us. Proud father of the 5 boys. Doting grandfather and wonderful support and wise counsel to countless friends. Oh, and in his spare time, the driving force and President General of the American Irish Historical Society, one of the leading cultural organisations, Irish cultural organisations in the United States, if not the world. And before I'm excommunicated by the people of East Kerry, of course, perhaps the most important title of all, President of Cumann Lucre, Uachtaráin for life of Cumann Lucre. And there's more. In his medical practice, he has been physician and confidant to the following, to mention but a few: Pope John Paul II, the legendary composer Leonard Bernstein that Phillip mentioned, the Secretary General of the United Nations, Boutros Ghali, US Secretary of State Cyrus Vance, US President Ronald Reagan, and many, many more. I was personally intrigued about his friendship with Leonard Bernstein, the genius impresario behind the piece of musical magic that is West Side Story, and the legendary conductor of the New York Philharmonic Orchestra. It's a truly remarkable man and human being that we are honouring today, and it's time to stop talking about him and let him speak for himself. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me very great pleasure to introduce that proud son of New York, Kerry, Rathmore, Sliabh and Aughnaisceartáin, Dr. Kevin Cahill.
You don't have to believe a word of it. The Cahill story for this gathering begins in a small cottage 2 miles up the hills from Rathmore, where my grandfather John D. was born in Aughnaisceartáin. As a boy, he worked on the rocky farm, caring for the cattle, helping his father with chores, cutting turf, fishing, and walking the hills. At age 19, John left the farm to go in second-class steerage on a 7-day ocean journey from Cove to New York. They had an American wake, as they called it, before his departure, for the reality of the time was that he might well be gone forever. A new life in a new world was balanced by the loss and sadness and usual permanence akin to death in his native land. You will note on the ship's log that he listed his native country as Aughnaisceartáin. Within a few weeks after arriving in America, he found a job as a clerk at Lord & Taylor, a large clothing store. He was paid $5 a week. 2 years later, he passed the examination for the ultimate dream of the Irish immigrant of that era, a position as a patrolman in the New York Police Department. John Dee steadily progressed up through the ranks of the NYPD, eventually retiring as a captain and the first chief of the communications department. His personal life, however, knew tragedy that tied him ever more closely to Irish relatives and a support system that flowed both ways between New York and Kerry. His wife died in the birth of their third child, and this remarkable man, with the help of an Irish cousin, made certain those children realize the American dream through education. Although he had never graduated from secondary school, he learned Latin and Greek so that he could check his son's homework. He also made several trips back to Rathmore and Anishkatawne so that his offspring knew the people and the land from whence he had come. My father, also named John Dee, became a physician. One generation of hard work by an immigrant from this county had produced a professional man of stature in the medical world of New York. My father also never lost contact with Kerry. My brothers and sisters and I had to memorize the poems and sing the songs that reminded us of our ancestry. And we also returned to Rathmore as children with our father. Today, my 5 sons and 7 of my 9 grandchildren are here at this gathering. They maintain in their generations close bonds between those who are in Ireland and the vast diaspora that represent you all over the world, from America to Australia. My final words are of thanks to you, the people of Kerry, for showing by this gathering that a very special relationship with the scattered family of the Irish overseas continues to matter to you. History, geography, and circumstance have meant that thousands of people like my grandfather had to leave this beautiful place to build a life and a home elsewhere. But for many, like my grandfather, this place never left them. Rather, to paraphrase him, the hills of Ireland continued to habit their hearts. The gathering is an acknowledgement of the pain and the loss involved, not just for those who left, but for those who stayed behind as well. But it is also a recognition that through that kind of death, that American wake, came new life, new beginnings, and new possibilities. And never forgetting those who have gone before us. We salute you, John Dee. May that soul of yours, burst apart by exile, be resting a bit easier this evening. Thank you very much.
Kerry County Council is to be commended for their wisdom in recognising the power and importance of the bonds that bind all strands of Irishness. I wish Kevin, his family, and all those who belong to the kingdom a wonderful celebration at Siamsa this afternoon. That's President Michael D. Higgins, Uachtaráin here.
was certainly honoured to go and visit his offices in Fifth Avenue. Beautiful offices looking out on Central Park. And certainly, I know by visiting and walking around the offices with him that he hasn't forgotten his roots, with lovely photographs, pictures of Kerry and his ancestry, which he's very proud of to show. And I've no doubt, Dr. Cahill, that the memento of Kerry football, and indeed the first award of the Friends of Kerry, I know you'll find a place in your offices for him. I'm just wondering which of the doctors you'll have to take down to replace him on the wall, but I'm sure I'll leave that to yourself.
Hello, my name is Mayor Terry O'Brien. I'm the Mayor of County Kerry, and I'm here at this very special event today, honouring Dr. Cahill, or Dr. Cahill, and delighted to be part of it and to be involved with it. I met Dr. Cahill last week in Manhattan, and we had lunch together, and I was so impressed with him, how humble and how easygoing he was. But to have him here on this side of the Atlantic this week, to shake his hand in Ireland, and to make a fuss of him like we did was something very, very special. He's such a lovely speaker, and he's got such a story to tell. But again, just to be part of it was absolutely beautiful. His family are all here, they're all chuffed to pieces, and I think it's a very good person to have as our first friend of Kerry.
Hi, I'm Tim O'Connor, and I'm Chairman of the Gathering Ireland 2013, which, as you all know, is a government initiative aimed at inviting our 70 million diaspora back home to Ireland in the course of 2013. So all around the country, people are organising gatherings like this one we saw here today. At the moment, we have 3,500 registered gatherings, but there's always place for more. So one of the things I want to do was to appeal to anybody watching this. If you're interested, get on board, be part of the gathering, organise your gathering, reach out to people, connections around the world, and invite them back to be part of this great year that we're having. And today, what was special about today, I suppose, was Kerry organising a gathering to welcome back a son of Kerry, Dr. Kevin Cahill, and to welcome him back home to the place from where his grandfather set forth in 1895, 118 years ago. And also not just to invite him back home, but to celebrate him, to hear the story. And I think we can all agree it was a very inspiring day, it was a very inspiring story, and I think there's lots of resonances for all of us here, both in terms of the journey that our immigrants had to go through to survive, to land in a new world and survive, and the incredible resilience and courage they showed. But also I think that for today, it's still a living, incredibly powerful bond between them, the 70 million around the world, and us who live here in Ireland.